Verse 7. And after a time, his master's wife cast her eyes on Joseph and said, lie with me. Okay, so the wife saw this. She had eyes that wonder. Okay, we have seen a number of times the eyes seeing, right? And this is like the eyes casting on him. So, okay, right? He is handsome. I want him. So that's what she told him. Lie with me. Now she would expect, he's a slave. He would do everything that she told him. You know, but it's culturally incorrect, and it's Joseph's going to explain as well the sin. And but she would expect, like, this handsome guy, we can get now her. I mean, we don't know how beautiful she was. I would imagine she was most likely beautiful as well, because I can imagine Potiphar, being so important and rich, could afford the best when it gets to picking girls. And so maybe, again, it could have been arranged marriage where it was not like that. Anyhow, but she wanted Joseph. She saw he is handsome and she wanted him. Verse 8. But he refused and said to his master's wife, behold, because of me my master has no concern about anything in his house, and he has put everything that he has in my charge. Okay, so no thanks, right? My master trusts me. I'm not going to break his trust. He's put everything in charge. So if I break him, I mean, understandably, he knows it. Then master finds out she has a sword over his first time, and the next time she can say, if you don't, then know what she's going to do. And then we would have no excuse. He would have been executed as he deserved. Okay, but that is not, his life is not the thing. Like, unlike for his brother Judah, it's about himself. It's about himself. In this case, Joseph says, oh, but then I might be executed even. You might force me to have more intercourse with you. You know, that's not going. I don't want that kind of thing. That's going to be bad for me. He's not speaking about that. So he's not focused on himself. He's focused on my master, Potiphar. He entrusted everything. And so therefore, you know, I can't do it to him. See the difference between Judah and his father Jacob as well, and Joseph. He is not worried about himself. He's not doing this for his sake, but for the sake of that person. Maybe she was beautiful and he would have liked to do it. He's a slave, not a lot of girls around kind of idea. Okay, he's a guy, young guy, kind of normal. But he wasn't thinking of himself. He was thinking of his master. He trusts. Can't do this. Verse 9. He is not greater in his house than I am, nor has he kept back anything from me except you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Okay, so he again states, Potiphar gave everything. He's not greater even than I am. I am in control of everything in this house. I mean, in that sense, they're like on the same level. There's only one thing that he kept back, right? In the previous, it's mentioned the food he ate. Okay, now he's saying the only thing he kept back was his wife. Okay, so maybe that is then what he mentioned, meant by the keeping back the food. And then he ends up at, because you're his wife, right? So he says, but I can't do this great wickedness against him. I can't do this great wickedness. It's a great wickedness. It's not even accepted in your culture, in the culture of the day. It was a very bad thing. Okay? Infidelity was a bad thing, unlike today. Okay? And but more importantly, I'm going to sin against God. And he's not focusing himself on what he can get out of this, but on his master and ultimately on God. Remember, Judah, his brother, sleeping with Tamar, thinking it's just what he's saying, just a temporal prostitute. So he's willing to even sin against God. In this case, brother Joseph, no way, I'm not going to sin against God. I'm not going to worship other gods here, kind of. I'm not going to do this to my master. I'm not going to break even this taboo of your culture, much more so than it's going to be a sin against God. No way. Forget about it. Verse 10. And as he spoke to Joseph day after day, he would not listen to her, to lie beside her, or to be with her. Okay, so like a tap dripping, drip, drip, drip. You know, later on the kids are going to go mad with it. You just, especially if it's at night, you can't sleep, and the thing is just keep on dripping there, and so you can close every door on the planet and put on music, and still you hear the drip. Maybe later on, just it's like it's in your head. But this is kind of like she's now. This is an emotional warfare going on. It's like a logical warfare. Joseph, come lie with me. 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 Every single day going on and on and on. I mean, he's just a man. I mean, a young guy. He could have got so. I mean, like, okay, just please stop. I can't take this anymore. Here I am. No, he didn't do that. He kept his cool, he kept his calm, and he kept clean, and he did not break his master's trust, and he did not sin against God.